Hello, it's Uncommon Fossils. Today we're taking a look at the Palkia Vstar starter deck. Palkia is certainly a solid attacker. It has the subspace swell, does 60 damage plus 20 more for each benched Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So that gets up to pretty good numbers there, and it's got a very terrific V-Star power, the Star Portal ability. It lets you attach up to 3 basic water energies from the discard pile to your water Pokemon in any way you would like. So a very nice ability there. It's a 2-2 line, 2 Palkia V-Stars, 2 Vs. It has the Radiant Greninja, with obviously the concealed card's ability to discard an energy, which in this case are all basic water energy, and then you draw 2 cards. So a way to see some more cards, get some energies into the discard to accelerate with the Palkia V-Star, and you can use this attack once in the game. The Moonlight Shuriken for 3 energy does 90 to 2 Pokemon of your opponents. But you discard 2 energy. You need to usually use Palkia's V-Star power to attack with it. It's really situational when you want to use it, though, right? Because you're basically only doing this once, and is it better to do that versus powering up another Palkia or one of your Kingdras? And you mentioned Kingdra, that is the main attack. That's kind of the secondary attacker, and and as well as set up Pokemon here. The one Kingdra, there's 2 of each Kingdra. One has Deep Sea King ability. When your active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you may move any amount of basic water energy from that Pokemon to this Pokemon, so you can power it up as your other Pokemon are knocked out. So something you want to get on the bench and wait till later in the game. Then Aqua Burst does 40 damage per basic water energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you've built up the energy level, it's pretty good there. The other Kingdra, there's 2 with the Seething Currents ability, and that has a very nice ability. Once during your turn, you may have either yourself or your opponent shuffle their hand, put it at the bottom of their deck. If they do that, then they draw 4 cards. So either for you or your opponent, a way to see a new set of cards, which is very helpful, or to disrupt your opponent. Just keep in mind the person has to have at least 1 card in hand, or they cannot, or it can't be impacted by that. But very useful. And then it plays some rare candy, but it plays 2 of the Seadras, the stage 1, to help evolve to. This also has the Swim Freely attack, which will let you get energy accelerated to it. And sometimes you will use the Hydro Jet attack. And in terms of the basic, it plays the Horseas. There's 3 of the one with 60 HP and 1 of the one with only 40 HP, but this one has free retreat, so it gives you a pivot. It plays a Finneon. That's an Oceanic Accompaniment ability. Allows you to attach basic water energy from your hand to any Pokemon that has the Swim Freely attack. So therefore, that's where the Seadra, the stage 1, has some value, and also helps with the Dewgong if you want to use that, although I don't think it's that great here. It has Swim Freely attack, and then the Flow Return does 40 damage based upon the number of basic water energies you shuffle back into your deck from your Pokemon. But these energies don't have to necessarily be attached to Dewgong, so you can choose which ones you want to get. So obviously, this couldn't pair well with the Kingdra that accelerates energies to it, and then you can either attack with Kingdra or use that with Dewgong. But Dewgong, I think, isn't as great a Pokemon, I gotta say. And one Seel, just a very generic basic, just to evolve from. And then a Manaphy as the other Pokemon. 11 basic water energy. I think the deck needs a little more, quite frankly, because you're wanting to accelerate from the discard pile with the Palkia Vstar, and you have the potential to accelerate from hand with the Finneon. So I think it just needs some more basic energy. It plays for Irida. That's kind of the main engine here in terms of the trainers, right? It lets you search for a water Pokemon and an item card. Because of that ability to search for an item card, it plays a number of 1 of items: 1 Heavy Ball, 1 Rope, 1 Level Ball, 1 Echoing Horn, 1 Pal Pad, 1 Nest Ball, and 1 Energy Search, and 1 Switch. So a lot of 1-ofs that you can make function with Irida. Plays 3 rare candies, another item to help get your Kingdras set up. and it plays 4 Battle VIP Pass. You really need to hit at least 1 on turn 1, I think, to get set up. If you don't, you're in a bit of trouble. And then for other supporters, it plays 3 Candice, which is okay. It lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal any number of water Pokemon and basic water energy cards you find there, and put them into your hand. So it's okay. It's not the greatest, though. And then 2 Boss's Order. And then it also has 2 Ultra Ball. So it doesn't have a ton of search on, like I said, if you kind of need to hit the Battle VIP Pass turn 1. Otherwise, you are in a bit, sometimes the deck does get stuck, right? If you can't hit your pieces early. But, it's a starter deck. I think it's fair. In a lot of ways, the deck feels bad to me. First, it is inconsistent. Palkia is okay, but it's not great right now. But it's certainly good. So I don't certainly criticize Pokemon for giving us to it. It is a good Pokemon, but it's not great. And the other thing is, we just were given on the previous Battle Pass the World Championship deck. One of the World Championship decks, the KKR deck, was Palkia with Inteleon Engine. That was obviously a fully teched out Palkia deck. This is nowhere near as good as that because it's a starter deck, so it's a bit nerfed as we should expect. And also the Inteleon engine's rotated, and the Inteleon engine did make the deck better. But when you kind of compare this Palkia to the Palkia that you had for free just a couple weeks ago, it can feel a bit bad. So have 1 Battle VIP Pass. So I will get down a Radiant Greninja good, a Palkia. Let's see what I have here. So I only have 1 other V-Star. Well, my other V-Star is prized, right? Oh, no, it's in my hand. Okay, good. Just trying to take a little gander here. All right, so I will see what I hit with my Radiant Greninja. The Manaphy does have value with this deck, but I'm not going to play it. I will say, right, because it doesn't help with Sableye. But the Manaphy, they may play Radiant Greninja, and it stops Radiant Greninja from damaging the bench. But they have to get 7 cards in the lost zone on their first turn, which is possible, certainly, but I think it's not probable, right? They're probably going to attack with a Cramorant. That's why I send up the Palkia that can take a hit from Cramorant and not get knocked out. Once and if they hit it with the V-Star, which assuming I play the V-Star next turn, the Cramorant doesn't knock it out the next turn either. So if they have to 3-shot my Palkia V-Star, that is not bad. I have had games where I've taken the risk of not benching Manaphy turn 1 against Lost Zone, and when I've gone first, and then on their first turn going second, they attack with Radiant Greninja and wipe out a couple of the Horseas, which is a bad feeling. Obviously, I only have 1 card below 90 HP or less, so therefore I'm certainly less vulnerable to the Radiant Greninja. Their Radiant Greninja. Of course, the fact that I didn't get the Horseas down mean I haven't really developed my board state to the extent I would have liked. But I have Irida. I have Palkia V-Star. I'm not in a bad place for sure. I have 1 energy in the discard. I would prefer to accelerate more energy than just 1 or 2. I obviously prefer to accelerate 3 whenever possible, but you certainly have to settle for less at times, and it looks like I may have to. If I don't get disrupted, right, depending what I top deck, but assuming it doesn't change as much, I play the Palkia, I play Irida, I get Energy Search, and I get probably a Kingdra. And, okay, so there we go. I may throw down the Manaphy. Now, I might not, too. All right, they play Water Energy. I'll have to think about that one, about the Manaphy. All right, let's see how this develops. So I want to get item. Is Energy Search prized? Okay, so that's prized. That's not good. So I don't have energy. Wow. Okay. Well, that's bad. All right. So go back. I'll get a Horsea. I'm in a bad spot here, is what I will say. All right. I'm not loving my life right now, for sure. play him. Toss down. Do I want a Manaphy, right? That's a good question. I'll get rid of my rope. I don't know if that's a good play. I'll get rid of the Rare Candy, keep the Irida. I might just play. I'll get down my other Palkia. I only have one energy in the discard, right? So I'm not going to accelerate one energy. That's not a good return. Evolve. I'll put down the Manaphy for protection. And end turn. Not good here for sure. There were other paths to have taken there. Anyway, I should have paid attention to there not being the energy search. I looked quickly. I thought I had seen that. But obviously it's not there. It's prized, right? I didn't discard it, did I? No, so it's prized. I can see it eventually in the game. They may hit me with Sableye right there at 4, 5, 6. No, they need to get 10, so they're not going to hit me with Sableye. They could set up a Mirage Gate, but they don't have Greninja down yet, in which case, obviously, the Manaphy helps if they do play Radiant Greninja. I need to do something here. That's what I'll say. So I have Irida, which is okay. It's not great, though. I'll set up my other Palkia. I assume they can't not one-shot it. Obviously, they can two-shot the basic V. I do have access to the other V-Star here. I think I want to keep the Manaphy for bench protection. They may, I don't know if they can get up to attacking with Sableye this turn or not. We will see. That will be rather devastating if they do. The deck hasn't gone well for me. Not sure if obviously I made that one mistake. I'm not sure what other lines of play I had, though, either. It didn't seem like I had any particularly strong options. So they can retreat. Let's see, what do they send up? So they're just going to hit into me with Cramorant, so it's okay. I mean, they're softening me up. I really need energy for sure. All right, so I will. That's not bad. So I will Radiant Greninja first. I can accelerate the 2 energy. So I can Kingdra. I would rather get the other Kingdra, though, right? That lets me get more cards. Yeah, that would be a big risk to do that, though, wouldn't it? So I get Palkia. No, it does have Energy Search. So did I completely whiff that last turn? Wow, I really messed that up. So I did have Energy Search. All right, I'm going to take a bit of a chance here. I'm going to get the other Kingdra in play that will let me get some new cards just to kind of try to develop my board state more. So I want Seething Currents. I keep the other Kingdra. It'll go back on the bottom of my deck, which is all good. I would like to get a third energy. I could have attacked last turn. I made a mistake for sure, but this is still I could be the better line of play I've taken. Well, that's nice too. So evolve there. I have 2 energies to accelerate, right? So Palkia. Use Palkia's ability. Accelerate 2. There. And there. So that was a good turn. I would like to get the other Kingdra set up, ideally before my Palkia gets knocked out, so I can move energy cards. Now that, obviously, at this point, it's a single prize deck I'm up against. They may have some multi-prize attackers that I haven't seen. I don't know. may just be a single prize deck also. So the problem with a single prize deck is I'm just taking one prize at a time. Eventually, they're going to get multi-prize turns. I'm ahead right now, but they're probably going to pass me before this game is done. So I have boss, so I need to kind of control the action here. Are they at the 10 yet? They're at 8. So, if they can't set up their Sableye this turn, they still have a good chance to, right? They have Comfy, will get them to 9. They could switch to another Comfy or use Klara Experiment. They've utilized 2, so they have 2 more in deck. Rapid Strike Urshifu, okay, interesting. So I can... now, the Leafy Camo Poncho does not help, right? I'm just going to double check that right this turn. So I could boss up the Palkia. I mean, the Urshifu. Which wouldn't be bad, right? So at this point, they can't attack with Sableye. They can't attack... I imagine they don't want to attack with Urshifu. They could switch, do the 30 damage retreat to the bench. So that's true, which they wouldn't mind that. It's 30 damage and they get back to the bench, but they need a switch card to pull that off. Obviously, they would have liked to... Maybe they still can. They would like to attack with Sableye, I would think. I assume they don't have Klara Experiment or they would have used it. So they're bossing somebody up. All right. Just kind of stalling me out there, which isn't horrible. I mean, it's a logical play, right? 220. Do I take the chance and go aggressive? I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to boss up the Urshifu while I can. I have to hit energy, though, so I'm taking a chance. Energy. I could hit the other Kingdra for sure. But give me an energy, please. I hit the energy. Nice. So I do not want to use Greninja because then I might not hit my energy at all. So I take 2 prizes, so that's good here. So I took a chance, but I felt that I needed to take the chance to get further ahead in the prize trade to give myself a solid chance to win. I guess they have... It's a bit odd. They don't have 10 cards yet. So that's strange to me, I gotta say, that they made that play. Because they shouldn't have had a Comfy, I mean, Klara Experiment in hand, or they should have used it before now, right? So they'll take out the Manaphy, I gotta assume, with the Sableye, assuming they can attack with it, though, right? And if they can't attack with Sableye, they should have sent up the Comfy. So, what are they gonna do? So Mirage Gate, okay. But I'm a little confused with what their plan is here. They might have wanted to put both energies on Urshifu. They still need a fighting energy. Right, I believe is it 1 fighting on the VMAX? Or is it 2? I'm not positive here. I could take the chance. I do play another boss in the deck. I could try to get the boss. So sending up the Sableye didn't make sense, right? They should have sent up the Comfy to start with. I don't understand that decision on their part. I understand, like, attaching the Leafy Camo Poncho to the V. They took the chance that it would get gusted up, but they wanted it there for the next turn, right? When they could evolve it. So I understand that logic there. So I have guaranteed 1 prize. So I could. I think that's a nice play, right? Because he does 40 per damage, and so his energy damage builds up quite nicely. I'll make that play. I will try to get a boss. If I get my other boss, I'm in really, really strong shape, right? I don't... I could Greninja here. I could. And I think I will. All right. And now I will use my Candice. Don't see why I wouldn't. Just grab all the cards. So I do have boss in deck, so that's why I peeked. I wasn't guaranteed to see the boss there. So boss gets shuffled in somewhere. And I will just attack. If I could have hit the boss and knocked out the Urshifu, it would have really been essentially game over at that point. So it was well worth it, and I came close, right? Came close to getting it. I could have not attached that Kingdra. That was one option. I could have leaned extra hard into the boss play, because then it gave me the option of getting the second Kingdra with the seething. With seething current's ability, which would increase and give me a second chance to hit boss. So we'll see what happens here. Now what's the up arrow on him for? Oh, wave veil. Okay, protected by. I was just trying to figure out what the green arrows were for. So my turn. So they didn't do anything. So I could boss for game, right? So let me make that play. Oh, let me put the boss back then, right? I'll put one boss back, increase my odds. I think I'm just going to give myself the boss because boss doesn't give me game, does it? But maybe I want to take out the Sableye instead, right? Sableye. I do have boss. Okay, so what do I want to hit into, right? That's the question now. I guess maybe I just hit into what they have in play here. Am I essentially guaranteed game next turn? I'm not fully guaranteed game, but all right, I'm going to smack into him. I don't have knockout, but I put a big hurt into him. I don't know that my opponent can get the attack off also. They have the 11th, so they could Sableye. So they can attack now. If they attack, they lose, so then they can retreat. They may have to manually retreat, might be their play. They have a switch. Okay. I do have another boss in deck, though, because I Pal Padded it back. Wow, they missed the knockout even. So that's, they're just not doing much at all. The game's not going their way. Let's see what I can do. I will dig for boss here. They only have 2 cards anyway, so I don't want to help them out. I will just do... I'll attach. I'm just going to attach and attack. Figuring I essentially have game at this point. It's hard to see how I don't win. I'm just taking it what I think was the safer play at that point. I have an energy search in hand. I believe I drew that basic water. I don't think I had that when my turn ended before I attacked. I can attack. I can knock out any Pokemon next turn by having, what do I have for switching? They could boss stall me. It's still hard to see that they could win with that, but perhaps they could figure out some way to kind of keep Gus stalling. So I have my one switch in deck still. And of course, I have energies. All of my non-attackers have. All right, so I have game. So they'll let me take game. So I'll say thank you to my opponent for letting me take my final prize. It does improve my rewards on the battle pass. So I set up well. My opponent did not set up well. They did make, I do believe, some suboptimal play in the middle of that game too. But over 1,000, a hefty amount of damage there. a good number of points for the Battle Pass, because I'm obviously looking to make good progress with that, because I am committed to testing out the looking into the economy. I don't want to purchase or craft any cards until I've gotten to tier 50 on the Battle Pass, or completed the Battle Pass. And obviously I would like to access the new cards. I'm obviously working through the starter decks. I have 2 more after this, and then there are the free decks they've given us on the ladder. And for the Miraidon EX deck, there are the upgrade cards they've given. Actually, both decks have upgrade cards, so I think I want to play the basic deck as they've given us, and the deck with the upgrades. So I'll have to see what I have here. Not an ideal starting hand, but the last game went okay. It went well. I don't remember how well it started, but I obviously got rolling. My opponent never got things going from their standpoint. My opponent's waiting to set up. So once the coin flip happens, I believe my opponent's connected to the server. This game should go ahead, but they're being slow. I don't know. I don't know if it's, are they just being slow? Why are they being slow? I don't know, right? That could be reasons that are more negative, like they're being distracted. All right, so up against Lost Zone again. All right, so that's a nice top deck, Radiant Greninja. I will see what I hit off that first, then I will probably Heavy Ball next. All right, so not terrible there. Let's see, take no valid cards, see my prizes. All right, so not great turn 1. So what am I going to do here? There's a decent chance they can attack me this turn, right? So I think I need to get a Palkia in play. Do I want to get rid of the Echoing Horn? I'll get rid of Echoing Horn. My opponent wants to play a lot of cards. I'll keep the Seadra in hand. That may be useful. 1 Palkia. Okay, so put down a Palkia and put down another Horsea. It's not a great situation. I don't want the 40 HP Horsea, I don't think, because their ability, it's more concerning with Sable IV, right? By the time, of course, Sable IV shouldn't be able to attack for a couple turns because it needs 10. But obviously, if I have the 40 HP in play, that's right. They knock that out, and that gives them 2 additional damage counters to put elsewhere, which, of course, is a negative. So we'll see what happens here. It wasn't a great turn 1 for me. I will send up my other Horsea. Obviously, Rope was a play to be expected. Putting in the free retreat Horsea on the bench wouldn't have been terrible at this point either. But my assumption is my active will be knocked out. It might not be, right? The fact that they had to use 1 switch to get the Cramorant out of play reduces things. They get another Comfy, so they need. So they'll get a second card in the Lost Zone. If they have Closest Experiment, they'll get their 4, and then they just need a switch card. So we'll see what happens. What did they toss? Yes, a Radiant Greninja, which lets them obviously discard and draw 1, assuming they have energy, and they do. So they're getting rid of water energies. 1 in the Lost Zone, 1 in the discard. I mean, those might be the only energies they have. They have nice fancy cards, right, as people have migrated more fancy cards. So Giratina V, difficult for sure. I discarded my boss, but, I need to... This is really lousy. So what do I do here? I play Seadra and I pass, and I could play it on either one. I just don't know. Are they going to rope me once? Are they going to rope me twice? This way, if they rope me once, they knock out my Seadra. which I'd rather keep the Seadra in play and have the Horsea knocked out. It's got more HP. It also can become the Kingdra without needing Rare Candy. Perhaps I should have put it in the active, assuming that with this ID, the odds are right. If they play no rope or 2 rope, it's on the right spot. If they play 1 rope, it's in the wrong spot. They're not going to, the odds of them playing 3 rope, super small. Right, they could play 3 rope, of course. They've only played 1 rope thus far. They probably play 4 in their deck. They probably play 1, in which case I've put it in the wrong spot. I don't know. I'm not fully sure what the odds are of the different situations. They're obviously thinking through what to do. They have free retreat. Okay. Well, that's not bad at all. I mean, so they're just going to knock out my active, and I keep the Seadra alive. I need to top deck something here. That's what needs to happen. Plain and simple. So I will send up, I'll send up, actually, Radiant Greninja. It has free retreat with the Beach Court. This is not good. So I will retreat him because I think I want to keep him alive, the Radiant Greninja. And I'll end turn. I could rope to get rid of the Cramorant, but I think, then they'll send up a Comfy next turn and get more development there. All right. So they're going to knock out my Seadra. A smart play there. I'll send up my Radiant Greninja. It has free retreat because I might be able to evolve the Horsea. Let's see. Wow. Well, this is brutal. All right, I'm going to leave my Radiant Greninja in the active because they don't knock it out with their Cramorant. This is bad, obviously. I could concede, but let's see what happens. My opponent's just going to continue to pick through me. They haven't knocked out my V, so I in that sense, I have the chance, right? Potentially, I can get my V evolved. I only have just 1 energy in the discard though, so I will send up my Radiant Greninja, free retreat. I'll concede if I don't hit anything. Now at this point, then I concede because I cannot win. So anyway, I think the video is long enough, so you can see the deck can work, but obviously the deck can just really brick like that game did too. The build isn't quite, I think, where it needs to be. I'm not sure how strong Palkia is anyway, but certainly may consider trying to strengthen this deck down the road. It's a deck to play. It's not one that I think is overly fun to play. From that standpoint, it's not overly effective. It's a choice. It's an option to play, and it's certainly pieces to work with for creating other decks, but not of the 8 decks, not one that I put in the top few ones to choose to play. Take care.